Welcome to Kindle English Podcast, your cozy space to learn, grow, and speak confidently.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Kindle English Podcast right here on YouTube. I'm so excited about this one. Okay, let me start with a question. Why do some people study English for years, I'm talking years, and still struggle to communicate confidently, while other people seem to learn faster, speak more naturally, and remember everything they hear? Is it intelligence? Is it talent? Or is it something else entirely?
That is the question, right? Because I've seen both sides of this. I've met people who studied English in a classroom for like a decade, and they freeze up the second they have to actually talk to someone. And then I've met people who picked it up in like 2 years just by living it.
Exactly. And here's the thing. A lot of it comes down to how you learn, not just what you learn. And one of the biggest differences I've noticed, the people who improve the fastest are the ones who aren't afraid to ask for help. Specifically, asking a teacher for help.
Yeah, and that sounds so simple, Hazel. Like, just ask your teacher. But it's not simple for a lot of people. I remember being in school and feeling like if I raised my hand too many times, people would think I was, slow or something.
And that feeling doesn't go away when you're an adult learning English in a new country, or in an online course, or at a language school. So today, we're going to talk about how to ask a teacher for help in English, the actual words, the phrases, the strategies. And along the way, you're going to pick up some really powerful vocabulary that you can use in classrooms, workplaces, anywhere.
And if you're new here, welcome to the family. This is where Hazel and I have real conversations in natural English so you can learn by just listening. Do us a quick favor. Hit subscribe to Kindle English Podcast, tap that like button, and honestly, share this with a friend who's learning English too. It helps us so much.
It really does. Okay, so Finn, let me ask you this. When you were in school, and I'm talking about growing up in the US, did you find your teachers approachable? Like, could you just walk up and say, hey, I don't get this?
Some of them, yeah. But approachable is the key word there. For anyone listening, when we say a person is approachable, it means they seem friendly and easy to talk to. Like they give off this energy that says, you can come to me, I won't judge you.
That's a perfect way to explain it. And honestly, whether or not you ask for help often depends on whether the teacher feels approachable. But here's what I want people to know. Even if a teacher seems a little serious or busy, that doesn't mean they don't want to help you.
Right. Some of the best teachers I ever had looked terrifying from the outside, but were actually the most helpful people once you actually talk to them.
The resting strict face.
Exactly. Resting strict face. That should be a thing.
Okay, but let's talk about why this is so hard. Because I think a lot of our listeners, whether they're in the US, in Europe, in Asia, wherever, they've experienced this feeling. You're sitting in class, you don't understand something, you know you should raise your hand, but something stops you.
Yeah, and I think there are a few layers to it. One is just pride, right? Nobody wants to feel like they're the only one who doesn't get it. But the other layer, especially for English learners, is the language barrier itself. Like, how do I even ask the question if I'm not confident in my English?
And that creates this awful cycle. You need help to improve your English, but you feel like your English isn't good enough to ask for help.
And that's where a lot of people fall behind. Oh, fall behind. That's a really useful one. When you fall behind, it means you're not keeping up with the rest of the group. Like everyone else is moving forward in the lesson and you're stuck on something from 10 minutes ago.
And falling behind can snowball really fast. One concept you miss leads to another, and suddenly you're lost in the entire unit.
But here's the good news. Teachers expect questions. In the American education system especially, asking questions is seen as a sign of engagement, not weakness. If you raise your hand in a classroom in the US, most teachers will be glad you did.
You know, that's actually really different from some other cultures. I've talked to students from East Asia, from parts of the Middle East, from Latin America, who said in their home countries, asking a question in class could feel almost disrespectful, like you were questioning the teacher's ability to explain.
Wow, that's such a huge cultural gap. Because in the States, it's almost the opposite. If nobody asks questions, the teacher might think nobody's paying attention.
And that's a really important thing to understand if you're studying in an American classroom or even in an online course with an American instructor. Asking questions is expected. It's valued. You won't be judged for it. You'll be respected for it.
And honestly, I wish someone had told me that earlier in life too. Because even as a native speaker, I held back plenty of times. I remember this one math class in high school where I was completely lost, like absolutely overwhelmed. And I just sat there pretending I understood.
Gently. Overwhelmed is such a good word for that feeling. When you're overwhelmed, it means everything feels like too much. Like there's so much information, so much pressure, so much confusion that your brain just shuts down.
That's exactly what it was. And I ended up failing that unit because I never asked for help. So trust me when I say, asking is always better than pretending.
Okay, so let's get into the practical stuff, because I know a lot of you are thinking, fine, I should ask for help, but what do I actually say? And that's what we're here for. Let's give you the words.
Yes, actual phrases, real sentences you can use tomorrow.
So the first one, and this is probably the most useful, is asking for clarification. Clarification. When you ask for clarification, you're asking someone to explain something again, more clearly. And there are so many natural ways to do this in English.
Like what? Give me a few.
Okay, you could say, sorry, could you explain that one more time? Or, I didn't quite catch that. Could you clarify? Or even just, what do you mean by, followed by whatever word or concept confused you?
Oh, I love I didn't quite catch that. That's so natural. You hear Americans say that all the time, by the way. Not just in classrooms, in meetings, in conversations, everywhere.
And nobody will think less of you for saying it. In fact, it shows confidence. It shows you're actively listening and you care about understanding.
You know what I think is even harder than asking in class, though? It's asking outside of class, like going to a teacher's office hours. Now, office hours, this is a big one, especially in American colleges and universities. Office hours are specific times when a professor or teacher is available in their office for students to come and ask questions, get help, or just talk.
And so many students, even American students, never use office hours. They just don't go.
Which is wild because it's basically free one-on-one time with your teacher. One-on-one meaning is just you and the teacher. Private. No audience, no pressure from other students watching.
And that's where the real learning happens, honestly. I've had some of my best learning moments sitting in a professor's office during office hours, just having a conversation. You can ask things you'd never ask in front of 30 other people.
Oh, totally. I remember going to my English professor's office hours in college, which feels ironic for this podcast. And she spent like 20 minutes explaining something I was too embarrassed to ask about in class. And I walked out feeling like a different student.
See? That's the power of just showing up.
Literally. Half the battle is showing up.
Okay, so here's something I really want to address. A lot of English learners tell me they feel embarrassed to say, I don't understand. Like those 3 words are somehow a confession of failure.
Which is so far from the truth. But I get it. When you're already feeling vulnerable because you're learning a new language, admitting you don't understand something can feel like you're putting yourself on the spot.
Ooh, to put someone on the spot. That's a great expression. When you're put on the spot, it means you're suddenly the center of attention and you have to respond right away, usually when you're not ready.
Like when a teacher calls on you randomly and you are totally zoned out.
Yes, that moment of pure terror. But here's the thing, when you're the one asking the question, you're not really being put on the spot. You're in control.
That's a really good reframe, Hazel, because you're choosing to speak up. And speaking up, there's another one. To speak up means to say something, especially when it takes courage. Like, don't be afraid to speak up if you have a question.
And there are so many gentle, polite ways to speak up in English. You don't have to announce, I don't understand. You can soften it. You can say, I'm sorry, I'm not sure I follow. Or, could you go over that part again? Or, I want to make sure I understand correctly. Are you saying that?
Oh, that last one is actually really sophisticated. I want to make sure I understand correctly. That makes you sound thoughtful, not confused.
And that's the trick. The way you frame a question in English can completely change how it feels, both for you and for the listener.
What about emailing a teacher? Because I know a lot of our listeners are in online courses or they're too nervous to ask in person. What does that look like?
Great question. And honestly, email is a fantastic option for people who need a little more time to organize their thoughts. You could write something like, "Hi, Professor Smith. I'm in your Monday morning class and I'm struggling with the material from this week's lecture. Would it be possible to schedule the time to go over it? Thank you so much."
See, that's perfect. It's polite, it's clear, and it shows respect for the teacher's time. And you use the phrase struggling with, which is so common in American English. When you say I'm struggling with something, it means you're having difficulty with it. It's not dramatic, it's just honest.
And teachers actually appreciate honesty. They'd much rather you say, "I'm struggling with this," than pretend everything's fine and then fail the exam.
Yeah, teachers are not mind readers. They can't help you if they don't know you need help.
Okay, so you've asked the question, you've gotten an answer. But here's something a lot of people miss: the follow-up.
The follow-up? You mean like going back?
Yes, to follow up means to continue or revisit something after the initial conversation. So let's say you ask your teacher for clarification on something and they explain it. A great follow-up would be to say, "Thank you so much. That makes a lot more sense now. Could I come back if I have more questions after I practice?"
Oh, that's smooth. That's really smooth because it shows gratitude and it keeps the door open.
And teachers love that. It shows that you're taking the help seriously. You're not just asking and forgetting. You're actually applying it.
You know, following up is actually a life skill that goes way beyond the classroom. In the workplace and relationships and networking, the follow-up is where trust gets built.
So true. And in an educational context, following up can be as simple as sending a quick email after office hours saying, "Thanks for your time today. I really appreciate the clarification on topic X." That's it. 2 sentences.
And the teacher will remember you positively because most students don't do that.
Be the student who does that.
Be that student. I love it.
Now, let's talk about something that's a little harder to address. Sometimes the reason people don't ask for help is because the teacher feels intimidating.
Ooh, yeah, I've been there. Intimidating. That means the person makes you feel nervous or scared. Not because they're mean necessarily, but because they seem very authoritative or strict or just unapproachable.
And this is especially common in universities, where you might have a professor who's this brilliant expert in their field, and you think, who am I to ask them a basic question?
I felt that way in my freshman year. I had this economics professor who was genuinely a genius, and I would sit in his lectures completely lost, but too intimidated to say anything. I was like, this man has a PhD from Harvard. He doesn't have time for my silly questions.
But here's what I've learned. Most professors, even the intimidating ones, want students to come to them. That's literally part of their job. And they're often much warmer in a one-on-one setting than they are in a big lecture hall.
You know, that's actually so true. That same economics professor, I eventually went to his office hours. It took me like 2 months to build up the courage. And he was so kind. He spent an hour with me, an hour. And he said something I'll never forget. He said, "The only bad question is the one you don't ask."
I love that. And I think a lot of teachers feel that way. They went into teaching because they want to help people learn. Asking for help isn't a burden to them. It's the whole reason they're there.
So if you're dealing with an intimidating teacher, my advice is start small. Send an email first. It's less scary than showing up at their door.
Or ask after class when everyone else is leaving. Just a quick, "Excuse me, could I ask you something?" Most teachers will stop and listen.
And once you do it once, it gets so much easier the second time.
Every single time you speak up, it gets a little less scary. That's how confidence works. It's built through action, not waiting.
Okay, Finn, I want to introduce an idea here that I think is really important, especially for our listeners who are studying in the US or in Western educational systems. And that idea is self-advocacy.
Self-advocacy. Okay, I think I know what you mean, but break it down for everyone.
Self-advocacy means standing up for yourself and your own needs. In an educational context, it means being the person who communicates what you need to succeed. Nobody is going to do it for you. Your teacher isn't going to magically know that you're struggling with Chapter 5 or that you need extra time on an assignment. You have to tell them.
And I feel like this is so culturally specific because in the US, self-advocacy is almost expected. From a young age, kids are taught to raise their hand, to express their opinions, to say what they need.
But if you grew up in a culture where the teacher is the authority and you're supposed to just listen and absorb, self-advocacy can feel really uncomfortable at first.
Yeah, and there's no shame in that. It's a skill. Like any skill, you can learn it.
And the phrases we've been talking about today, those are self-advocacy. Saying, I need clarification, that's self-advocacy. Going to office hours, self-advocacy. Sending an email that says, I'm struggling with this material, self-advocacy.
I never thought of it that way, but you're right. Every time you reach out for help, you're advocating for yourself.
And reaching out, that's another great phrasal verb. To reach out means to make contact with someone, usually to ask for help or support. I decided to reach out to my teacher. Don't be afraid to reach out if you need anything.
Americans love that phrase, by the way. You hear it everywhere. Feel free to reach out. It's in every email, every LinkedIn message, every customer service response.
It really is, but it's a good one to have in your vocabulary because you'll hear it and you'll need to use it.
And I want to say something to anyone listening who thinks asking for help makes them look weak. It doesn't. It makes you look smart. It makes you look motivated. The students who ask for help are almost always the ones who improve the fastest.
That's exactly right. And teachers notice. They notice who cares enough to ask.
All right, Finn, I think it's time for a little practice. What do you say?
Oh no, what are you making me do?
Relax. We're going to role play a quick scenario so our listeners can actually hear what these conversations sound like. Ready?
I guess? What's the scenario?
Okay, I'm going to be the student and you're going to be the teacher. Let's say it's after class and I want to ask about something I didn't understand in the lecture. Here we go. Excuse me, Professor, do you have a second?
Of course. What can I help you with?
So I was a little confused by the section on verb tenses today. I think I fell behind when you were explaining the present perfect. Would it be okay if I came to your office hours this week to go over it?
I'd be happy to help. My office hours are Tuesday and Thursday from 2 to 4. Just stop by anytime.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'll come by on Tuesday.
Perfect. And don't worry, a lot of students find that section tricky. You're not alone.
Okay, scene. Did you hear that, everyone? That's all it takes. A few polite sentences, a clear request, and a thank you.
And notice how Hazel said fell behind. She used it naturally. She said, I think I fell behind. That's exactly how you'd say it in real life.
And the teacher's response was encouraging, right? A lot of students find that tricky. You're not alone. Most teachers will say something like that. They want you to feel comfortable.
Okay, let's do another one. This time, let me be the student and you be the teacher. And I'm going to do it by email.
An email role play? That's new for a podcast.
Just work with me. Okay. Just work with me. Okay. Dear Professor, I hope this email finds you well. I'm writing because I've been struggling with the material from last week's class, particularly the listening exercises. I was wondering if I could schedule a one-on-one meeting during your office hours to get some clarification. I appreciate your time and support. Best regards, Finn.
Chef's kiss. That email is polite, specific, and respectful. You mentioned exactly what you're struggling with, you suggested a solution, meeting during office hours, and you thanked them.
See? I can be professional when I want to be.
When you want to be. That's the key phrase there.
Fair enough.
But honestly, everyone, that email template is gold. You can adapt it for any situation. Just change the details. And remember, when you reach out to a teacher, you're not being annoying. You're being a self-advocate. You're being a good student. You know what else is really important when you're interacting with a teacher? Learning how to receive constructive feedback.
Ooh, constructive feedback. Okay, this is a big one. So, constructive feedback is advice or criticism that's meant to help you improve. It's not meant to hurt your feelings. It's meant to make you better. Like when a teacher says, your essay was good, but you need to work on your paragraph structure. That's constructive.
And the word constructive is key. It means it's building something up, not tearing something down.
Unlike my older brother's feedback, which was always just destructive.
Siblings, man. They don't sugarcoat anything.
Not even a little bit. But teachers, good teachers, they give constructive feedback because they can see your potential. And learning to accept that feedback without getting defensive, is a huge skill.
It really is. And you can even ask for constructive feedback. That's actually a great way to build a relationship with your teacher. You could say something like, "Could you give me some feedback on my pronunciation?" Or, "I'd love some constructive feedback on my writing. Is there anything specific I should work on?"
See, when you ask for feedback like that, the teacher knows you're serious. You're not just there to get a grade. You're there to actually learn.
And that changes everything, because now the teacher is invested in your progress. They're rooting for you.
You know, I think the fear of feedback is related to the fear of asking for help. They come from the same place, this worry that someone will see your weaknesses.
But your weaknesses are just areas for growth. Every single person has them, even Finn.
Oh, especially Finn. Long list.
I wasn't going to say that.
You were thinking it.
I was not. But the point is, when you go to a teacher and say, "I know I'm not perfect at this. Can you help me get better?" That's one of the most powerful things you can do as a learner.
And if you're listening to this podcast, you're already someone who cares about improving. That puts you ahead of most people. For real.
All right, we're coming to the end of today's conversation. And honestly, Finn, I feel like this one was really special.
Same. It's one of those topics that seems simple on the surface, asking a teacher for help, but it goes so deep when you really think about it.
It really does. And I just want to take a second to go over some of the incredible vocabulary we covered. We talked about what it means when someone is approachable, friendly, and easy to talk to. We talked about asking for clarification, getting a clearer explanation, falling behind, not keeping up with the group, the power of one-on-one meetings with a teacher, especially during office hours.
And speaking up, having the courage to say something, feeling overwhelmed when everything's just too much, being put on the spot, that sudden pressure to respond.
And the big ones, self-advocacy, standing up for your own needs, and reaching out to people for help. Those aren't just English vocabulary words. Those are life skills.
And constructive feedback, learning to ask for it and receive it without taking it personally. And following up, not just asking once, but staying engaged.
If you can use even half of those phrases in your daily English, you're going to sound more natural, more confident, and more like someone who belongs in any classroom or workplace.
And I want to say, to anyone listening who's been too scared to ask their teacher for help, this is your sign. Just do it. Write the email, go to office hours, raise your hand. The worst that can happen is you learn something.
That's actually the best worst-case scenario ever.
Right. Oh no, I accidentally learned something. How terrible.
Thank you so much for spending your time with us here at Kindle English Podcast. We genuinely appreciate every single one of you.
And hey, if this episode helped you, or if it made you think about something differently, drop us a comment. Tell us about a time you asked the teacher for help and it changed everything. Or tell us about a time you didn't and you wish you had. We read every single comment.
Don't forget to subscribe, share this episode with a friend who's learning English, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a new conversation.
And hey, if your teacher asks you how your English is improving so fast, just tell them about us.
Subtle, Finn. Very subtle.
I try.
We'll see you in the next episode, everyone. Keep learning, keep asking questions, and keep showing up for yourself.
And remember, the only bad question is the one you never ask. See you next time.